Hey, welcome to Integrative Preparedness. I'm Steve Smith. Okay, the internal war that many of us have anticipated is here. It has started off with a bang, and that's what I'm going to talk about today. First, I want to talk about a few things, just a little housekeeping here. Um, I've just put up three new ones over on Patreon that will not be here um, on YouTube because of the things they address. We're coming into a very dangerous time, the likes of what most people have not lived through in our country, but it's coming. I've seen a little bit of it, but I think it's going to be a lot worse than that, and I think it's probably going to be historical. You need to be ready, and we're going to continue to talk about preparedness here, but there's a lot more that you need to be ready for and ways that you need to be ready for it. That's what I'm putting up over on Patreon now. If you're not over on Patreon, if you haven't checked it for a while, you'll see that I've been putting up some extra stuff over there. If you are serious about this, you need to be on Patreon. I don't have levels or anything. It's $1 a month. I suggest you go over there. If you don't, if you just like what we do here on YouTube, it's great to have you here. But I suggest it's $1 you will be glad that you spent. So I always put the link down below if that's for you. I hope to see you over there. Secondly, I've always been uh, I've always enjoyed answering as many as I could, as many as the comments. I'm not going to be able to do that so much anymore. Just wanted to give you a warning. A lot of things I have found that a lot when I go into whatever those other tabs are on YouTube, I don't see a lot of the comments that come up. A lot of them are being held for not by me, but for reasons that I don't understand. They don't have links in them. They don't have any wrong language in them. Somehow they're being held and they're not coming up. And I have not been checking those as often as I apparently need to. Uh, so I'm gonna be checking those more. I'm not gonna be able probably to answer all the comments on YouTube. I answer all of them on Patreon, but I just can't get to all of them here anymore on YouTube. I thank you all for participating. I read everything, and I will continue to answer those that I think it really needs to have an answer uh, for whatever reason. Many times, if you give me a question, I'll answer that in a video later, um, or whatever. Or if there's some real Dilbert that comes on and says something nutty, I might answer him for just a couple minutes before I delete it and ban him. Um, so anyway, I'll hit that heart. If you see the heart up there, that just means that I saw your comment and I read your comment, and I always appreciate it. Just know that I appreciate it. But it's a place for you all to make your comments and go back and forth, and so we'll leave it at that. Just also realize for anybody who's new, I rarely have to dump anybody. I occasionally do. If you have an opinion on something, and we're getting into times now that everybody's going to have some opinions. Uh, Feel free to express it. Don't promote violence. You should be able to. We're all intelligent people. We know a lot of words, and we should be able to express an opinion without using words that first off are going to flag you and then flag me, and don't flag me. I don't appreciate that because I want to be able to continue talking. It's more important that I be able to continue to talk to me. I don't know whether it's important to you or not, but it's important to me that I can be able to continue talking and say the things I want to uh, in the kind of language that's going to stay on here. And if you try to get stuff going, I'm not going to allow that because I'm going to think either that you're just a dummy, or I shouldn't say you. I should say I should put it in the third person. I'm going to think that a person like that is either just a dummy or they're an agent provocateur trying to get stuff going, and I don't abide by either one of those, and they're just going to get dumped and banned, and all sorts of stuff, so that the rest of you good people can have a platform on here where you can, watch and discuss and express your opinions in an intelligent manner. And I'm sure that you'll be able to do so, and we'll all get your point, because we only have smart people here. Okay, so I'm sure that most of you were tuned in to one extent or another on the Chauvin trial, and saw the verdict. I'm going to say right off, that was a setup. The murder charges should never have been filed. The manslaughter charge was the only one that was appropriate. This comes from a person with a background in the business. Some people might agree. That's all right. If you disagree here, do so politely. If you want to disagree impolitely, do it on your channel. Second-degree manslaughter was the only one, in my opinion, that was appropriate, and that's backed up by Alan Dershowitz, no conservative he, right? Dershowitz said, well, I'll get back to that in a minute. The judge refused to declare a mistrial on this, which he could have. And because of the inflammatory statements made by a congresswoman, by the President of the United States, and by the Vice President of the United States, and because of all of the rioting and damage and killing that has gone on over the last 11 months in this whole country that prejudiced the jury. That's a simple fact. Okay, there is no arguing with that for anyone with half a brain who understands these things. Okay, this never should have come down like this. Candace Owens, brilliant young woman. I hope she runs for something and then runs for president someday. She called it mob justice, and she is exactly right. Dershowitz, getting back to him, he said that the people who were organizing and carrying out all of the protests, rioting, the killing and all that, and the burning of neighborhoods, were using the tactics of the Klan during the 20s and the 30s, where they would stand outside a courthouse and where maybe a black person was being put on trial for something, and they would carry their torches and raise Cain and assure the jury and the judge that if that person wasn't found guilty, things were going to burn and people were going to die. This is exactly what happened here on a much larger scale, on a national scale. These things are now being organized by national organizations with a vested interest in the separation of different people and in developing an internal war. Now, what the judge told Chauvin's attorney was, while he didn't give him a mistrial on this, because he probably did that out of fear, because he knew what would happen. It was assured by the president, the vice president, all sorts of people, that if Chauvin, I keep saying it different ways, I'm not sure how it's pronounced, wasn't found guilty on all counts, things were going to burn. Okay, so he probably didn't declare the mistrial, but he told Chauvin's attorney, he said, I think that they have given you grounds for overturning this. Okay? Overturning this on appeal. Okay. Now, we'll wait and see what happens, and boy, I tell you, when it is overturned, if it is overturned, I think we're going to be so much in the middle of what's going on right now, we will hardly notice. Who knows? Who knows? A couple of things have happened as a result of this. Yesterday, or was it the day before? I don't know what it was. Did you see the big group of people going into the New York restaurant or going through it say, all whites get the F out? You don't belong here in New York, get the F out? All white people. Okay? There was another situation, what was it? It was another situation like that. Some BLM representatives apparently say, we are not satisfied. This is going to continue. Okay, Well, they have shown us what is going to happen. Most of us are not surprised. We're disappointed, but not surprised. And, hey, this, whatever, right? I'm going to stop short of saying a lot of things here. Whatever. But I had occasion to talk to 3 men that I know yesterday. I don't know these guys well. I mean, they don't come over to my house. They're not good friends. We don't chat on the phone. Um, um, but I know them. I've known them for quite a while. I know them professionally, and these guys are super sharp in their field. And as all 3 of them came up to me and said, "What is going on?" You see, this trial and these riots were the first thing that finally broke through their attention. Okay, they have their attention on their careers and their families and things like that. They don't pay attention to this stuff like we do for the most part. They are preparedness minded, but they are not necessarily political minded. But each one of those came up and said, "What in the world is going on?" And as I explained it and got into a little bit of detail about exactly what was going on and shared with them, and I texted them these videos of these groups storming into restaurants and telling whites to get the F out. And here again, hey, it's not me making this racial, right? Everybody's welcome where I am. It's other people. And it's not, and it's not blacks. Okay, I want to make that clear. It's not most black people. It's these particular people who want to start this going. They have a vested interest, a financial interest. It's all about power, and they are backed by the media and by an entire political party. And they have a vested interest in blowing up this country. And it is part of the long-term goal set down by the Marxist organizations that have been working to bring us to this point since the 19 teens. I mentioned before a couple of books that I recommend people read. One is Rules for Radicals by Saul Alinsky, and the other is The Naked Communist by some guy named Skousen, I think. Those are books you might want to look into because it shows exactly how this point has been reached, how these people were able to bring our country to this point. And in many ways that most people overlooked. They didn't see it coming. But every little thing, the kind of things that you and I probably would try to tell people and warn people about, and they said, "Oh, don't worry. Oh, for crying out loud, who's going to do that? Who's going to believe that? That's no big deal. It's just a little thing. You're just paranoid." No, all of these things has finally been piled one on top of each other to bring us what we have today. This is going to, people have asked, is it going to be a civil war? Is it going to be a revolution? Is it going to be a race war? Is it going to be whatever? Well, it's going to be an internal war, the likes of which I don't think that we've seen before. And to that extent, you need to be prepared, and you need to be prepared to the max. I mean, as much as you can be. We're going to talk more about that, I know, in the future. It's what I talked about, a few of the things over on the ones I just put up on Patreon today. Get over there. Listen to what I'm saying over there if you're serious about this stuff. It is not that I need your dollars. Trust me, I don't. But I'm not going to talk about that stuff here, and it's stuff that you probably want to either learn or chime in on and be, help yourself to contributing and commenting and going through discussions, and just over there, just as here. Please keep your comments courteous and stay away from promoting violence. That's not something that we can have here. The deadliest men I know are the most peaceful in their speech, and everyone can develop that habit and that trait, and I suggest that everyone do so. I think that's about all I want to say here, but things are getting real. Things have gotten real. And every day is going to bring about a potential threat that wasn't there the day before. So I'm going to leave it at that, reminding you that we prepare well today in order to live well tomorrow. And living well tomorrow is and should be our goal. It should be everyone's goal, not just to scrap around, not just to survive, but to live well. We have built an amazing culture here in America. We have built an amazing country, and we're watching it being destroyed and stolen in front of our eyes. And I have no desire to live in a perpetual downward spiral. I want to live well, and that means we have to prepare well and prepare well in all aspects, in every dimension that means. So, you all have a good day. I will probably talk to you tomorrow. Bye bye.